Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
For some reason, it's not finding my intro file. That's weird. The, you know that one? I don't know what I did. I must have deleted it by accident. I'm going to have to find it. I could always re-download it. It's not like I deleted it for good, but it was weird. When it went to the next scene, it said, intro, file not found. And I'm like, that's never happened. But I was getting delete happy a little while before, so that could be why. All right. So I'm going to show you all this wonderful top. I love like Batwing Tops, so I just loved this one, so I wanted to show it to you. And if you've noticed, I am missing my anarchy symbol. Oops, my anarchy symbol. It broke. How anarchistic of it. How dare it. How dare you. So I need to order a new one. I tend to break anarchy symbols. That's very anarchist of me as well. But I found, if you guys remember from my story time, Via de Cristo Changed My Life, I had told you about the gold Via de Cristo necklace that my ex-husband got me, which was the nicest thing he ever bought me, and I found it again. I knew I had it somewhere with the Christ is counting on you in the back, which is very stressful. Christ shouldn't be counting on me. I can barely count on me. So, how come I don't have my grifting up? Where is my grifting? Oh, so sorry to hear you got food poisoning, Mike. I hope you saw that email I sent you to explain a different email. I figured you'd get a chuckle out of that. And I figured you'd get a chuckle out of the original email as well. And you'd go, you clever girl. You clever girl. Okay, so when you get a chance, take a look at it. It might make you smile. Before we get started, I needed to have my grifting up because I have been a very bad grifter. Apparently, again, from the beginning of the month, there's always a little bit of attrition with patrons. People's financial situations change, particularly around the holidays. So I have found that in order to make up for the normal attrition, I need to gain $15 a month in patrons. And in order to get to the December goal, I need $40 in patrons. So that's 15 plus 25. But at least to catch up to where I was at the beginning of December, if you can become a patron, I would super, super appreciate it to at least make up that $15 a month shortfall. And yes, Fidalgo says more cowbell, more Delaware content. There will be, because Will McVeigh and his merry band of coup-masters. And listen, I'm friends with a lot of those people. One of those gentlemen was in the stream the other night. He's the one who alerted me to the appeal. He was one of the guys I played. Oh, I forgot. It was at Dale's house, Tunnels and Trolls with. Like, a lot of these people are my friends. The strong opinions I have against what they're doing, I hope when this is all over that we're able to keep this apart from the friendship. Now, Will and I aren't speaking right now. I think he's blocked me. I don't know. But when this is all over, I hope things resume to normal. Same thing I hope for Gilletta Jarvis, who I thought did wrong, but I still consider her a friend. But friendship doesn't influence my right and wrong. It does influence how I handle it in the beginning. And a lot of you may remember, if you go way back to the beginning of the Delaware content, before I said anything publicly about anyone doing anything wrong, I spoke to the people individually. I made Will a promise that when I examined the parliamentary record, if I thought he violated Roberts or their bylaws, I would tell him personally first. He wouldn't have to hear it from me publicly first. And I kept that promise, and he'll tell you I kept that promise. Because these are friends of mine. Funny enough, just like in the New Hampshire situation, I don't know, maybe this says something bad about my taste in friends. Just like the New Hampshire situation, I was much better friends with the people who ended up doing wrong and learned and got to know the people on the other side better throughout the whole thing. With the New Hampshire thing, I didn't know anyone on the other side until I got involved. And now they're all dear friends. In Delaware, I knew Amy, but I wouldn't say terribly well, but I know her very well now. And oh my God, what a distinguished lady. Like Dr. Amy Lepore, out of anyone you could be trying to purge from the party, she is the poster woman for professionalism. Like, who ever thought that purging Amy Lepore would be a good idea? Okay, and I got to know Bill Hines. I didn't know him before. I got to know Dave Casey, a fellow asshole, really well. And Dave, if you are listening, because I know you like to clip out my content, I have a gift for you. It's not much. That's why I asked if you were going to the New Hampshire convention, because I want to give it to you in person. But otherwise, I will mail it to you. But if you're going to be in New Hampshire, I'll just bring it with me. Again, just something small. I like to pick up things like if I see something when I'm out and about or shopping online or whatever it might be that I think just perfectly suits somebody, I'm a little gift buyer. That's like how I am. All right. So I did the grifting. In the bottom is Amazon affiliate links. If you start your Amazon searches with any of those, you don't have to buy the product that I'm linking to. Anything in that session, if it's a qualifying product, gets credited to my affiliate account and it costs you nothing. Now, the Amazon affiliate link doesn't make me much. I don't get a payout until it's at least $10. I haven't gotten like a payout in 3 months, but it's like at $9.70 now. So do some Amazon affiliate thing so I could at least get that payment. And the t-shirts have been selling well. So tinyurl/Pink Flame merch. I'm adding more designs. Because I'm like a t-shirt lover myself. I like having funky, fresh t-shirts. So go get your t-shirts. There's some cool designs in there. There's some new ones I'm going to add. But please, please get the Reno Reset shirt that says you'll what does it say? You'll lose your position and you'll like it, or something like that. But you want to know which one has turned out to be the most popular, and I'm glad. It's the grab the pine, get the quills one, because it uses, since we're doing history tonight, a historical porcupine that was used in the 1970s by the Libertarian Party of Colorado. It was created for the Libertarian Party of Colorado. We don't even know who created it at this point, but I think it's one of the best porcupines ever. So go check out that. One last thing before we get started. There's still time to get this book for the young person in your life for the holidays. It's The Tale of Two Brothers. It's a beautifully illustrated children's book for, I guess, about the 6 to 10-year-old set, maybe 4 to 10 to 11. I enjoyed it, and I'm nowhere near that age. It teaches libertarian lessons without teaching libertarian lessons. It teaches the young person in your life that life is more than just having biological existence, that it's about taking risks. It's about having experiences, not about locking yourself away in a safety bubble. And I think we could all see how that applies to the world today. And lastly, please go check out one of the show's sponsors, Daniel 3, Biblical Anarchy. It is a YouTube channel, and I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to his channel. And he has really good shows. A lot more, it's interview style, which I don't do very many interviews. I uploaded the interview with D. Frank Robinson earlier. If you aren't familiar with D. Frank, he is an OG of the Libertarian Party, okay? That guy has done battles. And I'm sorry the audio's kind of crappy. He and I are working on it for the next interview we do, which is going to be about his JC opinion. Hopefully it won't be so crackly and echoey, but we did the best that we could. Okay, I think that's it. This month's LP News, so we're on bonus episode 17B, November, December 1973. It's chock full of information. We're probably, and I'm going to need to do a bunch of these episodes to catch up for December, we're probably going to get up to bonus episode F. There's so much content. So today we're just going to cover the cover article. Last time we did Spotlight on State Parties. I don't think we did the cover article. If some of this sounds familiar, like if I'm just like mental and forgot that we covered this material before, please let me know. But I don't think we have. Okay? I don't think we have, but let me know if we do. So yeah, now I'm back to my first love, which is history. I don't like the LP drama crap. But there's been a blessing in disguise out of getting fraudulently removed by a corrupt LNC. Say how I really feel. There's a lot of crap going down with affiliates right now. And I would not be able to help them the way I am helping them now if I were on the LNC, because that would really skirt the line with interfering in the autonomy of an affiliate. So I can help Delaware openly. I can help other affiliates that have asked me for help that I'm not going to say who they are, because maybe there won't be issues. Hopefully they won't. Hopefully things are getting solved behind the scenes, as they should be. But I would not be able to do this. And since my love on the national level is for helping affiliates, even though this has been terribly painful and terribly humiliating and terribly wrong, it's allowed me freedom to do some things I would not be able to do. All right, so let's now go. Oh, before we go to the LP News, I wanted to read some highlights of things that happened on this day in history in 1973. We had talked about, I believe in the first episode, we played the Nixon, I am not a crook. I am not a crook. Your president is not a crook. That happened in November of 1973. But there's some also very other important dates. Oh, and I forgot with my grifting. Super chats are always welcome. And all super chats go to my campaign. So I'll let you know when I get the YouTube. All ad revenue and super chats go to my campaign. I'll let you know when I get the ad revenue, the next payment. I think it's in a couple weeks, how much we raised last month, because that all went to my Boston trip, which was part of the campaign. So if you would like to help my campaign and you're enjoying this content, just know that's until the campaign. That is what super chats will go for. All super chats matter. Yes, they do. Let's just put this up here because everyone needs to know that all super chats matter. You know, this shirt is going to be dyed pink at the end of this night. Just so you know. There is nothing I have that my hair touches that doesn't get dyed pink. I've ruined some good coats. I don't know why I even thought of that. Just looking at this, I'm watching my hair rub against this shirt, and I'm like, yeah, bleach time. I'll be bleaching this shirt. Okay. So, this day in history is that I wanted to just highlight here. Obviously, the Watergate Scandal. Acting Attorney General Robert Bork appoints Leon Jaworski as the new Watergate Special Prosecutor. And that was the sea change in the Watergate Scandal. And remember how I told you in the 70s there was a lot of frickin' plane crashes? I think that's where I got my fear of flying from, was watching the news in the 70s. Because when I was super, super young, like I can remember back to being 3 and 4. I know some people say you can't remember. I remember. I don't remember a lot, but I remember some things. And I remember at first liking flying because my grandparents lived in Connecticut. And then all of a sudden I got a terrible fear of it. And I think it was from hearing about all these freaking plane crashes. So November 3rd, 1973, Pan Am cargo flight. Now it was a cargo flight, but still crashes at Logan International Airport, Boston, where I was just at, killing 3. NASA launches Mariner 10 toward Mercury, and it becomes in March of 74, it became the first space probe to reach that planet. I did not know that. And I used to be very, very interested in astronomy. The Congress overrides Nixon's veto of the War Powers Resolution, which limited presidential power to wage war without congressional approval. And we're still going through that today. Walt Disney's 21st feature film, Robin Hood, is released to critical praise and box office success, though critical reception has gradually waned over the years. I'm interested in that. Like, what happened? Like, did it turn out to be problematic? Egypt and Israel sign a United States-sponsored ceasefire. These are all November dates. Next episode, I guess it'll be bonus 17B. We'll go over some December ones. NASA launches Skylab from Cape Panaville. Nixon signs the Trans-Alaska Pipeline Authorization Act, which authorized the construction of the Alaska Pipeline. Oh, check this out. The Thanksgiving special, A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, premiered. I love A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. And again, on November 17th, there's the I'm not a crook statement. And here's where things really start to heat up with Watergate. On November 21st, Richard Nixon's attorney reveals the existence of an 18-and-a-half-minute gap in the White House tape recordings related to Watergate. Things go rapidly downhill from then. And since Spiro Agnew, wasn't that who was his original VP? Whatever. Gerald Ford is confirmed as vice president because the former VP, and I think it's Spiro, isn't it? Am I like going crazy here? Is confirmed as vice president. And the Senate voted 92-3 to confirm. So that is what was going on in November of 1973. We will, in fact, go over December 73 in the next episode. Okay, so let's now cover the cover story. I want to let you know something I do with these things, but let me pull this up first. Okay, so here's the LP News we're going over. I type all of these into Lpedia as an article, so it's not just a PDF, and it has the hyperlinks into it, and I even absorb the information a lot more when I'm typing it out and hyperlinking everything. So like everywhere it says Fran Youngstein, it links to her article, sort of thing. It really helps me learn the history. But I need to pull this up on my screen bigger so I can read it. That's what she said. Where's my downloads? Here we go. Okay, let me just get to the first page here. Now, there's a lot of material in the historical archives about the Youngstein campaign, like a lot of her flyers and things like that. We just don't have them all uploaded to Lpedia yet. All right, so final tally, May, top 9,000. Now remember, we weren't on very many ballots, so that's why there's so much attention in the LP News about just one race. But one of the strongest affiliates in the early party was the Free Libertarian Party of New York. They, for some reason, I don't remember the reason, someone's going to need to refresh me on that. Perhaps Andrew Colsty of New York can, as to why they couldn't call themselves the Libertarian Party for a long time. They had to be the Free Libertarian Party. I think it's because the election board there was already a liberal party, and I think they decided the name was too close, if I remember correctly. So they had to be the Free Libertarian Party. All right, so Fran Youngstein, why do I have such trouble with that name? 5th in 9-way New York race, she ran for mayor, overwhelms 4 far left candidates. So there were 5 minor parties running in that race, and she did far better than all of them. And it's going to discuss that in detail here. It says, although final, complete results are not yet available thanks to the bureaucratic inefficiency of the New York Election Board. It is already evident that the Free Libertarian Party slate, that's what FLP is, headed by Fran Youngstein, has pulled off a stunning coup. Oh no, another coup, but this is a good coup, unlike the Delaware coup, by outpolling all 4 other minority party candidates in the recent New York City elections. With almost 75% of the city's election districts accounted for, Fran's vote total is past the 6,500 mark. The FLP is confident that her final total will be at least 7,500 to 8,500, with a citywide total of 9,000, well within the realm of possibility. Total. Ugh, let me just have a drink here. I'm tongue-tied. Super chats matter. What am I drinking tonight? Grand Marnier. I am a cognac fan. If you ever want to know booze to buy me, it is cognac or brandy, particular vanilla cognac. Continuing now. I did it again. I'm going to have to just drink each time. By the time, I'm going to be falling over drunk. Total voter turnout for the 9-way race was the lowest in recent history, with the 4 major parties, and there were 4 major parties in New York at that time, Democrats, Republicans, the liberals, and conservatives, which is interesting. Wonder how the liberals at that time differed from the Democrats and the conservatives differed from the Republicans. That would be interesting to learn. And remember, guys, these shows are always participatory. So all comments matter. Receiving about 99% of the 1.7 million votes cast. I did, John. And I was talking about you earlier. I was being complimentary. John is one of the people I'm on the opposite side of this issue with, but we remain friends, and hopefully we will continue to remain friends. Years down the road, when all of this is a distant memory, we will all be in a same party together and fighting for liberty. And we shouldn't let these kinds of things linger. I'm going to diverge here for a second. Seeing John here just reminded me of this. It's been somewhat of a very discouraging week for me. Not in anything having to do with Delaware. Just the party culture in general. It's gone downhill. And I don't really know what we can do to fix it. There's always been a malicious streak in our party culture. I think all small groups are like that. That it attracts certain kinds of people. And I'm not referring to anyone in the Delaware situation. Actually, what I'm referring to now has absolutely nothing to do. The people I have in my mind are not even in Delaware. It's just certain kinds of people that just are nasty. And they like to be nasty in small groups. And we've got more than our fair share of them in the Libertarian Party. And the way we can tear each other down, even when there's no controversy. Listen, when there's controversy and we're quote-unquote infighting, and I think actually infighting is good, fine. But there are times when there's no real alleged beef between this person and that person. But that other person has just got to go around bad-mouthing the other person all of the time for no reason. I don't do that. And I just don't understand the type of person that does that. I'll talk about somebody when there's an issue that is relevant. And hopefully I'm not talking about them, but about the issues. But let's just pretend I'm going to make up a name. Bob Buford and I had some big beef. And I just didn't like Bob. If we were having an actual active dispute, I would talk about it. But a year from now, when I'm not, I wouldn't continue to talk about Bob. But there are people that just obsess on people and just continually badmouth them. And I'm really so tired of that. Like, if I ever, and I don't have any plans to do this, this isn't any kind of like cry for help or threat or anything like that. But if I ever leave this party, that will be why. That will be why. It's that small slice of toxicity. And there's always toxic moments, but it's the sustained toxicity that I just don't need in my life. And I tend to just block those people, so I'm in my peaceful little bubble. I don't need to see it. But then it comes to my attention, and I'm just like, why do people got to be like that? All right, let's continue. Figures available from scattered districts around the city show the FLP receiving between 40 and 70% of the total vote garnered by the 5 minority parties, outpolling the 4 Marxist parties handily. It seems that Fran received more votes than her 4 small party rivals combined, or a total of 0.5% of the overall vote. Oh, and John, I need to let you know something. Let me pull this up. Let me finish this paragraph, then I got to tell you something, John. In a city widely known for its liberal leanings, where the other small parties have been around for many years, Fran's showing was nothing less than amazing for a first-time effort. Many experienced observers noted that the FLP's performance was the strongest showing by a new party since the emergence of the liberal and conservative parties years ago. I want to look into those 2 parties. Now, what I wanted to tell you, John, I wanted to invite you to do something nice, not anything bad. Let me pull up Elpedia. I've been documenting the Delaware issue on Elpedia, and I fear I might not have all the relevant documents or all the relevant points of view, and I wanted to invite you guys to add. Now, remember, Elpedia is like Wikipedia within the Libertarian Party. It's neutral point of view, so anything presented has to be factually presented, and anything that's opinion needs to be clearly noted as opinion, but we do want all opinions noted. And I obviously am there noting the opinions of one particular side, and I want to be sure the other side is aware of this article so that you can add things. Okay, let me pull this up on the screen so you can see it. So you'll know what to search for in Elpedia. Why isn't that showing? 1 second. Is that showing? Yeah, okay. So the article is titled Libertarian Party of Delaware Leadership Controversy 2021. I haven't gotten up the appeal document yet, but as you can see, there's a narrative. There's some videos. There's the LNC meeting. Here's some documents. Here's other documents. Here's commentary videos. Why is that one? That link is broken. I'm going to need to fix that. But you'll see up at the top here, I want to read this disclaimer so that people are aware that this is the purpose of Elpedia. It says this page may contain disputed or controversial material because there are strong and differing opinions on some aspect of this topic. Elpedia is an archive and takes no sides. The main article on a topic should focus on undisputed facts. Material that represents subjective opinions should be presented as such by one of the following methods: reference to another document that has a clearly identified author or source, a footnote that identifies the source along with the opinion, a brief summary in the main text of the nature of the dispute and the positions of each side. Authors should refrain from language that shows bias, e.g. praise of one side or slurs against another. Extended presentations of a particular viewpoint are best provided as separate documents or articles labeled as such. This allows readers to make their own judgments or arrive at their own conclusions. Thank you for respecting the purpose of Elpedia. For more information, see Elpedia Disputed or Controversial Material. If we go there, it talks about how to handle disputes on Elpedia. Okay, it's very similar to Wikipedia. So if you guys have anything you want to add to that article, as long as you conform to the policy, please feel free to do so. And anyone here on the same side I am on in the Delaware dispute, again, if you've got documents or facts that I've just been too busy to note, please put them up there. Okay, let's go back to LP News now. Fran's strongest showing was in Manhattan, where she polled nearly 1% of the total vote. And I know some people will be thinking, oh, that's nothing to brag about. It actually is. We were such a brand new party then. This was actually amazing for us. Gary Greenberg, running against incumbent Manhattan District Attorney Frank Hogan, rolled up between 7,000 and 8,000 votes for a very respectable showing of 3.5% to 4%. Returns for the other FLP candidates are not yet available in sufficient numbers to make any meaningful projections. Fran's triumph was the result of an immense effort by FLP members who spent literally thousands of hours and thousands of dollars to promote libertarian ideas to the city's voters, drawing on the generous financial support of libertarians from all over the country. Overall, the Youngstein campaign was probably the largest single effort ever undertaken by the libertarian movement to date. And I think that is most certainly true, looking in hindsight. And she did, because we weren't on the ballot hardly anywhere else. So the focused concentration and monetary support of the fledgling party flowed into that campaign. It says, in the course of the campaign, FLP members distributed 175,000 pieces of campaign literature, backed up by 10 newspaper ads, a dozen TV spots, and over 70 radio spots, including complete sponsorship of a popular all-night radio talk show on the Saturday before Election Day. As a result of the campaign, Fran was invited to speak before literally dozens of citizens groups. Usually, she was the only one of the 5 minority party candidates invited to participate in Meet the Candidates events. She also participated in 3 televised debates with the other minority party candidates. I've tried to find these debates. I'm sure a recording of them is out there somewhere. I found in the archives of a university in Oklahoma, there are tapes of her TV spots and radio spots. I would love to get copies of those. One day I'll start traveling around to these universities to start getting copies of some of this stuff and get it up on Elpedia. All right. During the campaign, Fran was the first candidate to raise several issues which were subsequently discussed by the 4 major party candidates, including victimless crimes and the proposed transit bond. After Fran came out against the latter, the major party candidates did likewise, and the bond was defeated at the polls. So even though Fran obviously did not win this election, I think she won that issue. I certainly do. Substantial media coverage was generated by the FLP campaign. Fran was interviewed many times by the city's radio and TV stations, and more than 50 newspaper stories were published as a result of the dozens of press releases sent out by the campaign staff. I did do a search through newspapers.com and was not able to find any of these stories. And notice there's a typo there. Stories. But again, this was all done on a little typewriter by David Nolan. But I wasn't able to find any of those stories. Unfortunately, I also did a Google search, wasn't able to find them. But that's how I found out the university, or I don't think it's the University of Oklahoma, but it is a university in Oklahoma, has some archives. Maybe we'll find some of these things in the future. In sum, the Youngstein for Mayor campaign was an immense success in terms of educating the public about the existence of the libertarian movement. As Gary Greenberg put it, they know who we are and what we stand for now. And then there's an editor's note. Complete results for all FLP candidates will be published in the next issue of LP News. A complete financial report on the campaign will be sent to all contributors in about a month. The FLP asks for your patience. So that was just exciting things going on in the early party. Let me go back here. Don't want that, want this. Here we go. So that's all I think we're going to cover for tonight. I'm trying to keep these episodes a little shorter, so just little bits of history. What we're going to be going over next, and this will be soon, is if I want people and the reason why I didn't do it this show is I wanted people to have opportunity to listen to the D. Frank Robinson interview, because what we're going to be doing next will relate to that. You may remember in episode 17, before we got to the bonuses, we did Spotlight on State Affiliates, and it talked about how Oklahoma had put out a very nice brochure called Declare Your Independence. Frank was able to get me that entire brochure. He had it in his personal collection. So we're going to go over that newsletter / brochure in the next episode. And what we have left to cover in future episodes, let me pull this back up again. So let's go through these pages quickly so you know what's still coming. So we did the spotlight on state parties already. That was episode 17. And we also did 17A, where we talked about the topless ordinances that the Libertarian Party of Nevada, I think it was opposing. No, Arizona was opposing. Then the LP of Canada, the Mideast War, keep us out. How now, Ayn Rand? That will be a separate episode in of itself, because Ayn Rand and her weird feud with the Libertarian Party is very interesting. And there's a book I need to pick up by Jerome Tusil called It Often Begins with Ayn Rand. And then the new life members of the party. Ludwig von Mises, an unsung genius, heroes and mainly villains in Congress. Making of the president is a bore, a disappointment. See, there's a lot of freaking information in this LP News. And I think last is bits and pieces. No, political perspective. Like, we've got 5 or 6 more episodes on just this issue of LP News. And then bits and pieces. So there's a lot. There's a lot here. So I'm probably like every 3 days going to be trying to finish this up so that we can hit January running with the January-February 1974 issue. So now just to pimp my patrons again, 1 second here. There's a book I do book discussions for patrons only. A lot of you might not have known there is content for patrons only. We went through Hunter Thomas's Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail, 1972. We also went over January 1973. It's a book called January 1973 about these momentous events that happened in January 73. And we are right now going through Radicals for Capitalism, which is the history of this period of time. And so much of what we're going over in this book dovetails with the LP News. Like, the way the dots are being connected for me is amazing. And if you notice, like, I've highlighted the fuck out of this book, but I've got like a bunch of pages like dog-eared. This is stuff I need to extract out into Lpedia and maybe do some history shows on. This book is phenomenal. So if earlier today just sympathy for me didn't convince you to become a patron, these book discussions maybe will. It's open to all patron levels. And also you get access to my private Discord server where I do some more intimate talks. Because I have found when I got too open on just general social media, disgusting people like use that against me. And because we have some disgusting people in this party. The book we're going to be doing next is, I believe, The Problem of Political Authority. I think it's Michael Shermer. Great book. University of Boulder professor, I believe. All right, everyone. And thank you, John, that you love the historical podcast shows. That's really what I prefer to do. That's what this channel was started to do. And it kind of just branched out into ooh, I got pink ink on my face. I use pink ink pens. I'm sure that's a big surprise to you. I've been studying for my registered parliamentarian exam. All right, everyone. I hope you have an awesome night. I'm going back upstairs to do some more studying. And, yeah, good night. Oh, I'm looking for my closing sequence here. Bye-bye.